Look at her. Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. This morning we are joined by a guest. Again, she's just walking around. Say hello. Oh, you're so... Oh, maybe not. I was gonna say she's so chill, but I don't think she wants to be held. Welcome back to another reading vlog. I'm very excited about this one. I've been waiting to start filming this vlog for the longest time, honestly, and it's finally time to get into it. So, shall we talk about the reading plans? I think so. She wants out. She's been in here for 5 minutes and she wants out. Anyway, reading plans. Yes, the most exciting reading plan that I have for this vlog, and the thing that I'm going to spend a lot of this vlog talking about, I actually don't currently have my copy of it yet. It is out for delivery today, so I will be getting it, but at the present moment, I don't have it. So today I'm going to be focusing on like some different reading, but like the main book that's going to be featured in this vlog is obviously Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. It is the third and final Emily Wilde book, which does make me very sad. But honestly, I have hope that there's gonna be like a, short story collection or like a little spin-off novella kind of thing that might come out after the series, just because it's so popular and so many people love it that series like that tend to get things like that. So I'm manifesting that's gonna happen, but for now I just want to appreciate and enjoy the last book in the series. The Emily Wilde series is one of my top favorite series. I don't know if it's like my favorite series ever. I would really need to do some thinking about that. But it's definitely like, top 2 or 3 maybe. What would rank above it? I'm not even sure at this point. I feel like maybe at the present moment it's my favorite series, but like that could change tomorrow, Well, actually, let's hope not tomorrow, because if it changes tomorrow, that means the third one isn't good. But I feel like it will be. Let's not go there yet, but... Anyway, I loved the first 2. I'm very excited to get into this one and see what Emily and Wendell are getting up to. Based on where the second book left off, I have a feeling I'm really going to enjoy this one. We're definitely going to be experiencing some new scenery, in a vague sense, I suppose you could say. I've avoided basically hearing much of anything about the book, aside from the fact that people have said that it's really good. I don't think I've heard from anybody so far that they didn't like it, so... hopefully that'll be me too. Honestly, like, if the title of this video does not include the phrase "my first 5-star of the year," I'm gonna be very sad. But I'm just gonna assume that's gonna happen because the first 2 are 5 stars, so like how could this one not be 5 stars? I don't know if I want to put that out there, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Because I trust Heather Fawcett. Anyway, I've spent way too much time talking about this book in this intro. Let me talk about my other reading plans that I have for the weekend as well, because I'm very excited about both of these as well. And I'm actually kind of like in the middle. Well, like more towards the beginning, but I have started both of these and I'm enjoying them so far. So let's talk about them. The first one being another kind of fantasy romance sort of series. Well, standalone. I believe this is a standalone, but that is Immortal by Sue Lynn Tan. This is... From what I've gathered, I'm pretty sure this is set in the same world as the Celestial Kingdom duology, which included Daughter of the Moon Goddess and the second one that I didn't like. But it focuses on, like, a different facet of Chinese mythology, I believe. So, like, they're kind of connected, but, like, not really. Not that it really matters, but I'm really enjoying this one so far. Basically, we're following our main character, whose name I cannot remember at the present moment. Lien, I believe her name is Lien. Basically, we are following our main character, Lien, and at the beginning of this book, she is very ill. She feels very unwell. She doesn't have a lot of stamina. She doesn't really feel like she can do a lot of things. And through some turns of events, I think we find out that she's been poisoned. So her grandfather, who is the, like, ruler, king, I don't exactly know what his, like, title is for this area, but he's like a ruler of this area basically, and he gives her this mythical flower. I believe it's the lotus flower, and it ends up like healing her. Everything is great, yada yada. The only problem with this is the fact that that lotus flower was originally intended as a gift of sorts for the immortal queen. And upon hearing that it's gone, she does not know that Lien is the one that currently like has the flower, but she just knows that they don't know where it is anymore. She's pissed, obviously. So Lien, who has now had to step up as the ruler of this area, is kind of now in a power struggle of sorts with the immortals. And through some turns of events where after, she has ascended to this leadership position, she has to go to the immortal realm so they can confirm her, basically, so she can, like, continue to rule this area. she ends up going and she ends up having to stay in the house of the, you know, kind of grumpy, taciturn, god of war, whatever. And obviously there's gonna be a romance. And I'm pretty excited about that, honestly. There's definitely a lot of contention between the two of them because the Immortals have kind of been oppressing the humans for a really long time. She's rightfully very upset about this, but she kind of has a scheme of her own going on where there's this mythical shield thing that she's trying to steal while she's there. So she's trying to get closer to him to kind of figure out some intel. He's obviously very standoffish at first, but I think as the book progresses, they're going to grow a little bit closer, which I'm excited about. And just generally it's a solid setup because it's kind of like a forced proximity thing. I really like all of the like Chinese mythology that's woven into it. The only thing I don't love is some of the personality traits of our main character, I guess. She loves making assumptions about people, and like all she has done for the first 70 pages is make assumptions about people and then be upset when they're not actually that way. And I'm like, just stop. It's not like a huge deal, and it's probably just like a character flaw that she's going to overcome throughout the book, but it's just something that I've noticed. And every time she does it, I'm like, just stop. You know, like maybe if it happened once, don't do it again, or even twice, don't do it again. I don't know. Anyway, that's like the only thing that I'm like, you're kind of getting on my nerves. But aside from that, I'm liking it a lot. And I'm excited to get into the rest of it. I don't even think I told you how far I was into this book. I'm not very far in at all. I'm like 87 pages into it, so still very much in the beginning, but I am excited to read some more. I have been primarily listening to this on audio, and I might continue to do that, or I might read a little bit of it physically. I don't know yet. We'll just see how I'm feeling throughout the weekend. So there's one of my current reads. The other book that I'm currently reading is actually a classic, which I'm very excited about because I decided it was high time to read Sense and Sensibility, which I'm just completely covering the title, Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I went out yesterday to Barnes & Noble to buy this book. This is my first book I bought in 2025, and I started it immediately. So I want you all to give me a little round of applause. I'm gonna assume you clapped, so thank you. This is the only classic that I put on my 2025 TBR, so I decided I should tackle it early in the year so I can, you know, have the most success possible with that. Although this entire vlog is actually going to be very helpful for my 2025 TBR because all three of these books that I'm reading are on it. I didn't realize that until yesterday. But I'm just gonna make some good progress with it, so I'm very happy about that. But I started Sense and Sensibility, currently on page 65. I'm really enjoying it so far. If you guys don't know, in this book we are following two main characters who are sisters. We have Eleanor Dashwood, which by the way, I love the last name Dashwood. Like, it's just so, like, just something about it. It's just fun to say. We have Eleanor, who is kind of representing sense, so she does things in a very logical manner. She's very concerned with everything proper and doing, like, the right thing, you know? And then we have her sister Marianne, who is a couple years younger than her. I believe Eleanor's, like, 19, and Marianne's about 16 and a half, maybe. And Marianne very much represents sensibility. She kind of just does things on a whim. She's very enamored with romanticism and just, you know, doing everything in a very fun, carefree sort of way, I suppose. And the entire book is kind of the juxtaposition between these two sisters, which I'm really enjoying so far. We're kind of just doing the typical Jane Austen stuff so far. They're, you know, trying to find husbands. We're kind of seeing the financial situation that they're currently in, because at the beginning of this book, they lived in this, you know, super nice mansion or whatever with their uncle, maybe? And their uncle died, and then their dad died, so through some turns of events, they kind of ended up having to move out of this mansion and into this, like, English countryside cottage, which at first I was really hyped for. I was like, oh yeah, like, give me a cottage in the English countryside. But like literally in the book, Jane Austen was like, this is not a picturesque cottage, like it's literally just a house. I need to find it back because I thought that was so funny. Like the whole time I was like, oh my god, love. And then she was like, but as a cottage, it was defective. For the building was regular, the roof was tiled, the window shutters were not painted green, nor were the walls covered with honeysuckles. And I was like, damn, just dispelling all of my fun notions of this cottage. Whatever, it's fine. So I thought that was funny, but there have definitely been some, you know, suitors presented to our main characters. Marianne is currently having her whirlwind romance with this himbo of a man who's, what is his name? Willoughby? I don't remember what his first name is. But the man is exhibiting some red flags, and Marianne literally just doesn't care. She's just so excited that he loves music and art and all the same things she does, and they just get along so well, even though he said some disparaging comments about some other dudes who were in this book, and I'm like, that's a red flag. But Marianne seems to be into it. I'm sure this is gonna be, you know, a lesson for her to not just rely on her sensibilities or whatever, but this man's definitely not endgame. I'm very sure of that. Well, I'm like 95% sure of that. I just love reading Jane Austen. Like, it's just so fun. So I'm very excited to hopefully make a lot of progress with this weekend. I'm currently highly motivated to do so, primarily because I really want to read this book. But also, I posted a photo in my Patreon Discord yesterday. I was like, first book purchase of 2025, whatever, casual, normal. I was just excited about the fact that I bought a book. And then my patrons proceeded to roast the hell out of me for never finishing the classics that I start. So even though I'm reading this because I want to and I'm really enjoying it, I'm also very slightly spite reading this book just to prove them wrong. So I definitely want to make a lot of progress in this. It's also a good thing that I'm really enjoying it, so it's a win-win for me. But anyway, I'm definitely going to, I think, maybe start with this book today. I kind of blocked out certain like page goals so I could finish it before the end of this vlog. Whether or not that actually happens is another question, but I'd like to make it up to my page goal today. Anyway, those are my reading plans for this vlog. I'm sorry this intro has been so long. I just, you know, started both of these, so I had to give updates, but yes, those are my reading plans, long-winded reading plans. As for plans for this vlog, this is gonna be kind of a weekend reading vlog. It's currently Thursday morning and I'm probably gonna film it through Monday, potentially. The video's supposed to go up on Monday, but I'm thinking it'll probably go up on Tuesday instead, just because I wanna give myself ample time to read and enjoy Emily Wilde, so I hope that's okay. But I'm kind of just gonna be partaking in the typical things that I do in my vlog, so there's gonna be a lot of reading, a lot of annotating, because I am currently annotating Sense and Sensibility, and then I also am going to be annotating Emily Wilde. So it's been a while since I annotated something, and now I'm jumping in and doing 2 books at once, but I can't wait, honestly, because I love annotating classics and my favorite books. And even though I don't know if Emily Wilde 3 is going to be a favorite, I have a feeling it will be, so I'm going to do it anyway. So a lot of annotating. I'll probably do some baking as well. I'm going to do some journaling, just the typical fare, so let's just get into it by jumping back into Sense and Sensibility. I really hope you guys enjoyed this vlog, and I will see you in a little bit, hopefully with an unboxing for the third Emily Wilde book. What am I trying to say? I don't know. And a reading update on this. It is now Friday morning. I have some reading updates. I have some things to show you. So let's get into it. I am so excited. First of all, let me show you the book mail that I received yesterday. Yes, I did already open it because I have the patience of a 4-year-old, but I just had to see it. I had to see it, so I'm so sorry you don't get my initial reactions, but they're gonna be basically the same. Look at her. I have it in my hands and I'm so excited. I obviously will be starting this morning and I cannot wait to get into it. And again, it's just so gorgeous. I'm just absolutely obsessed with the UK copies, especially the one for the third one, because it's so beautiful and pink and like there's green foiling on it. Also, it's not like a crazy feature of this book, but the color of the hardback for this book is so beautiful. Like this shade of mossy green I'm so obsessed with, and then it's also got like, you know, green foiling on the title on the spine as well. It's just like such a good color combo. Like green and pink is so cute and I cannot wait to get into this book. Obviously it's going to be the first thing that I do this morning and I cannot wait. I'm going to set up my little annotation key for it. I'm probably going to annotate it in the exact same way that I annotated the other books in the series. I'm sure I'm going to be looking for the same things and whatnot. I looked last night and I do believe this spans a time period of like late December to early March. Like March 1st, I think, is the last journal entry that's in this. So it's the perfect time to read it, seeing as it is now late February and we are very much in the same time. I also looked at the first page. I read the first paragraph. I saw the term fairy cat and I got immediately excited. Like it's just gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. So yes, I have my copy. It's so gorgeous. And I will be starting this book immediately after I finish filming this update. So obviously, most importantly, we have her. But then I also got something else, which is not a book and it's not really book related exactly, but I thought you guys might still want to see it just because I know a lot of you are also big Ghibli fans. But I found these art prints. At first I wasn't gonna buy it. I was like, I don't need that right now. But then I kept thinking about it and I thought about it for a few more days and I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, I think I need that. And it is this gorgeous Howl's Moving Castle art print. Like, it's so beautiful. The colors, the illustration style, the attention to detail. I'm so obsessed with this. Like, just look at Howl and Sophie. My favorite part is little Calcifer over here with his like breakfast skillet, and then we have like the little castle, and it's just so cute. It's so cute. And I do have the perfect spot on my wall for this. It's gonna go like where this empty spot is. I have the frame like off the wall that I'm gonna put this in, so I'm gonna do that later. It's gonna look stunning. It's gonna be such a great addition to my gallery wall. I'm just so excited. Also, if you guys wanna know who the artist is, there's some information for you if you should want to check them out. But I just wanted to share because I know a lot of you also love Ghibli, specifically Howl's Moving Castle. So yes, those are the bits of mail that I received this morning. Honestly, the most exciting bits of mail I received in a very long time. So very happy that I was able to share it with you guys. But should we do a bit of a reading update? I think so. Because yesterday I did mainly focus on reading Sense and Sensibility, and I did not hit my page goal. I was so close to it though. But it was like 2 a.m. last night, and I read one more chapter, and I was like, you know, maybe I could make it. But then I figured, no, it's really not worth it. However, I did make it up to an even better stopping point because I made it to volume 2. So I made some decent progress yesterday. I think I read about 70 pages, which I'm quite happy about. And I'm still continuing to just really enjoy this. I really love Eleanor and Marianne as our main characters, even though they both have their flaws. Marianne more so gets on my nerves than Eleanor does, but I think that's the point. She's supposed to be like a little bit of a grating character because of how just like flippant, carefree she is the whole time. And to some extent I like that because there are some things about her that I do heavily relate to, such as her ability to, you know, just like romanticize everything in her life, to put it in like a very modern sense, I suppose. There's also this conversation that her and Eleanor have that I absolutely loved. Because Eleanor was talking about, you know, the place that they used to live. And Eleanor said, it probably looks much as it always does this time of year. The woods and walks thickly covered with dead leaves because it's about October, I think, right now in the book. And Marianne goes, oh, with what transporting sensations have I formerly seen them fall. How I have delighted as I walked to see them driven in showers about me by the wind. What feelings have they, the season, the air altogether inspired. And Eleanor's like, it is not everyone who has your passion for dead leaves. And if Marianne isn't me, every time I see even the barest hint of color on the trees in September, I don't know what is, honestly. So I just felt so seen in that moment by Marianne. But I just really love this book because there are obviously facets of both of their personalities that I heavily relate to, and I'm sure a lot of people heavily relate to, because again, it's kind of the point that most people exhibit a lot of sense and sensibility in their everyday lives, and Marianne and Eleanor are kind of exemplifying that to the extreme to show why you should be like a multifaceted person, basically. But as for kind of the general plot, you know, like not a lot has happened. I feel like Jane Austen books, I don't want to call them plotless, but for the most part, they're a little bit meandering, and that's just like the style of these kind of books. But there have definitely been some romantic developments for our two characters, and not in a good way. Both of them, I'm like, oh my god, what is going on? Like, you cannot trust these men in this novel. Like, they're all exhibiting red flags. They're liars, they're deceitful, they're self-pitying. It is not a good look for them, honestly. So I'm like, where are we going with this? I don't know. Can they come back from this behavior? Probably, but I'll be interested to see how that's done. But also something else that I really loved about this book was the fact that after Marianne was kind of not necessarily dumped, but like there's some turbulence in her relationship with a certain gentleman. And the day after it all happened, she literally just spent the entire day moping, self-isolating, being really upset about it, which like obviously somewhat justified, but to the extent that she was doing it, I just found so funny because literally the whole time I was reading the paragraph where I was describing what her day was like, I was just imagining like a post-breakup montage scene that is typically present in a lot of like teen rom-com-y type of movies. And it just reminded me that Jane Austen really popularized so many of the romance tropes that we enjoy nowadays, and I just love that so much. I think it's great. But I also thought it was funny that throughout this whole, you know, day of sorrow that Marianne was having, she was kind of pondering on it a little bit and basically being like, well, this is kind of just what you're supposed to do. It wasn't really love if this isn't how you're acting after it. So I feel like she was honestly kind of playing it up a little bit for the sake of herself and the others around her, for them to be like, oh my god, yeah, like this, she was really into this guy. Which I again just thought was very funny. She's even romanticizing her breakups. And to some extent, I respect it. So I'm just really loving it. I'm enjoying it immensely, honestly. I feel like I don't really hear a lot of people say much of anything about Sense and Sensibility. I do believe this is Jane Austen's first published work, maybe, so it's perhaps not as refined as her later work, but I'm having a wonderful time, honestly. It's very funny, it's very entertaining. I find it to be somehow, like, maybe a little bit more engaging than some of the other Jane Austen works that I've read. I'm just really having a great time with it. And I just love Jane Austen works, and I might have to read Mansfield Park sometime this year. There's how Sense and Sensibility is going thus far. I don't know if I'm gonna read any more of this today, obviously because I have a higher priority reading plan now that this is in my hands, but maybe I'll read, No, maybe I'll try and reach my page goal for the day. That's only 50 pages. That feels doable. But first and foremost, I'm going to get into Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. I'm so excited. I'm going to set up my little annotation key and get into it. So let's go. Everybody, it is currently Saturday morning and I'm obviously here with a couple of reading updates for you. I'm so excited about them. I also do have a couple, well, like mainly one plan later today that is gonna cut into my reading time a little bit, which not happy about it cutting into my reading time, but I am quite excited about it because me and one of my friends are going to see Beetlejuice, like a production. Beetlejuice on Broadway? I don't exactly know what it is, but like we're going to see a stage production of Beetlejuice later, which I'm quite excited about. I feel like that'll be very fun, very spooky, not exactly fitting the vibe at the moment, but I'm ready for it and I can't wait to do that. So that's tonight at like 7, I think. So I won't have, you know, the maximum amount of time today to read, but I'm still going to utilize my time well because I want to make so much progress in Emily Wilde just because I'm having the best time, obviously, and I would really like to read some more of it. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how it's been so far because obviously I did start this yesterday. There's truly no doubt in my mind that this book is going to be a 5-star read because I'm having a wonderful time. Honestly, any book with Emily and Wendell in it, I would probably give 5 stars, you know. Even though I guess on the first read of the first book, I think I gave it like a 4.5, but upon my reread of it back in December, I did give it 5 stars. So it's just what they deserve, you know. But yes, I've made quite a bit of progress in this so far. Currently on page 136. So I'm approaching the halfway mark. Like, not exactly, but a little bit, and it's making me sad that I'm just going through the book so quickly. But I also just want to devour it at the same time, you know? So I think that that might just be what we have to do. I'd like to read a lot of this today. That is my goal. But anyway, as I said, I am 100 or so pages into the book, and I am obviously absolutely loving it. However, I feel like due to the nature of this book and where we are and what we have to do in it, I feel like it might be my least favorite out of the 3, but that's not really saying a lot because I just love the first 2 immensely, and I know I'm gonna love this one immensely as well. But like, if you asked me to rank them, that's probably like where this one would rank at the moment. I feel like it probably goes like 1, 2, 3 in my ranking, but they're all so close together. I'm gonna try and talk about this book in a very vague sense, and if it ends up being too vague, I'm so sorry, but I don't want to like spoil anything. So I will of course do my best to convey to you why I'm still really liking this book without spoiling anything in this series, but do you know how hard that is? But basically in this book, you know, we're following Emily and Wendell as they've gotten themselves into a different situation, shall we say, from how the rest of the series has gone so far. And I'm really loving it because it is putting Emily specifically in a situation that she is feeling very out of her depth in. She doesn't really know what to do with this new role she's been given. And I feel like it's very rare for Emily to feel like she's out of her depth because for the entirety of the series, she's been put in these situations where she's going on these, you know, expeditions to look at the Fae. She's very in her element doing her thing. And even when she gets put into more like perilous situations, she's very capable. She knows how to handle things based on her extensive study of the Fae. One of the main things I love about Emily is that if she's in any situation regarding the Fae that she doesn't really know what to do with, she starts like running through all of these folk tales that she has memorized, and she is like pulling things from these different ones, and she's like, oh, we should do this because in this they did this, so like we can do this. And I love that. But in this book, she's been put into this position that she doesn't exactly know what to do with. She feels a little bit uncomfortable in the role, I guess, which is just a little bit of a different emotion than we've felt from her thus far, so I'm really liking exploring that a little bit. Something else I really love about this book and kind of the series in general is the very sinister undertone that the Fae have. Obviously, a lot of stories that involve the Fae also kind of have this undertone because that is kind of the nature of fairies in folklore, but I love it specifically in this one because it's exemplified through the situations that our characters are in, but it's also exemplified through the writing. Like the word choice that Heather Fawcett uses and the way that she describes the places that our characters are in really help to build this kind of spooky, uncanny sort of feeling that Emily is feeling while she is in the situation that she's in. And obviously it kind of combines my 2 favorite things because I love spooky stories, but I also love whimsical fairy stories. And I feel like this series definitely gives you both of those because it does a good job at exemplifying how just wretched and evil the Fae can be sometimes. So I've just been noticing that a little bit more in this book as I've been reading through it, and I absolutely love it because the ambiance of this book is just everything that I personally look for in a book. Also, there's this one thing that I thought was so funny, like Heather Fawcett really does a good job at putting a lot of thought into this world and the Fae and how they work and their traditions and whatnot. It's very well fleshed out. So there's a lot of background information that you like may not need to know, but it really adds to the overall kind of immersion that you get when you read this series. And there was something that I just thought was so funny, and it was something that I, you know, never would have put any thought into. Because there's this whole section where she is talking about a few things that one may encounter if they go into a fairyland, and there's a little section on fairy snails, and it says, apparently they possess a crude intelligence and value their dignity above all things. As such, they spend most of their lives occupied with revenge quests. While their vengeance may be slow in coming, they always have it in the end. And just something about that cracked me up because who would think of that? And why would they think of it? But I love the fact that they did. I don't know if any of that tells you specifically how this book is going, but I hope that kept it in a vague enough sense that you don't know where this book is going, so. Basically, all you need to know is that I'm having the best time. I'm loving it. Obviously, Emily and Wendell are stunning, and especially seeing their relationship develop over the course of this series has been so nice. And even though Wendell is kind of an aloof, ridiculous man at times, he also just cares so deeply for Emily, and he is so concerned with her happiness, and he would truly do anything for her. And I just think it's so cute. And you can definitely tell that Emily, in her own way, feels the same way, and I just love them so much. So being back with them has been absolutely delightful. I'm having a great time so far, definitely planning on reading a lot of this today. And then for a shorter update, I also have read a little bit more of Sense and Sensibility. I did not hit my page count yesterday, or my page goal yesterday. Very sad, I know. But I made it up to page 166. So I think I read about 30 pages, which I am pretty happy about. And so far I'm still really enjoying it. I don't want to say my interest has waned necessarily a little bit throughout volume 2, but I haven't found it to be quite as engaging as volume 1, but I'm still really enjoying it. And I'm just so interested to see where things are gonna go for our two main characters. I feel like all of the romance potential is sad. It's slim pickings out here for Marianne and Eleanor. However, they did go to London for a couple of months. I think that's kind of the main thing that's been happening in volume 2. And that has been kind of interesting. I feel like a lot of Jane Austen works tend to take place in the countryside, which I love them for, obviously. But to see our main characters kind of, you know, go into this city, I am excited about, even though they're still kind of just sitting around waiting for people to call on them. But, you know, they did go shopping a little bit, which was fun. But that's kind of my short update on Sense and Sensibility, seeing as I just spent a lot of time talking about this book. So that's how my reading is currently going. I think I'm probably on track to finish both of these before the end of this video. I don't know about Immortal. I'll probably read more of it, but I probably won't finish it in this video. But I've decided to prioritize these because I'd like to finish these. So those are kind of my plans for the rest of the video. But obviously this morning we're gonna get into some reading. So let's go. Yes. everybody, it is now Sunday morning. Also last night I did go to see Beetlejuice, like I told you guys. And it was fun. I did have a good time. There were parts of it that were really funny. There were definitely parts of it that may have been a little bit corny. But also, I don't really know what I was expecting from Beetlejuice Live, so there's my mini review. Do with that what you will, but I enjoyed it. But obviously we are here for something even more important because I have a reading update for you guys on Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. I read quite a bit of this yesterday and I'm now on page 253. So I think I have like exactly 100 pages left, which I will be reading today. And I'm a little bit scared about it and I'm also a little bit sad about it, but also I cannot not finish this book today, so it must be done. At the point in the plot that we're in now, I'm just scared, frankly. But at the same time, this very much feels like something that should be happening in the final book of a series, so even though I'm not happy about what's happening, I'm happy that it's happening, if that makes sense. Something I want to note about this book, though, if you guys haven't picked it up yet, this book feels very much more plot-centric than the other books have, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it does feel somewhat different from the general vibe and pacing of the first two, I guess. Because in the first two, it's very much like cozy fantasy vibes. We're walking around, inspecting things. It's light academia. It's, you know, very chill, very casual, very meandering in parts. And this book, I think, definitely has a more kind of structured plot to it because of the nature of where our characters are, the situation that they're put in, what's happening to the place that they're in. It very much feels more plot-centric than the other books have, which is just a little bit different for this series, but I still like it because I'm very much invested in what's going on. But I think that's something to note going into it, that it's like just a little bit different, you know. It still has the same like overall whimsical vibe to it, which I'm obviously eating up, but it does feel just like a little bit different, which I'm not mad about at all, that's for sure. There are actually just so many things about this book that I am absolutely loving. One of them being the fact that we are getting so many cameos from characters that we were introduced to in the first two books and kind of seeing them be pulled into the plot a little bit in this one, I'm loving. Like anytime somebody that, you know, I recognize pops in, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so happy that they're here. Especially after I did my reread of the first book and the second book, like a couple of months ago. I feel like I'm better acquainted with these characters, so seeing them again is a joy, honestly. Also, something I really loved is the fact that even though none of this book takes place in Cambridge, which like the first two books start out at Cambridge because Emily and Wendell are Cambridge professors. So in the beginning of the book, you see them there. You see the light academia, collegiate university vibes going on, which I absolutely loved. And this book did not start out that way, but there is a little segment where Emily does go to a college to do some research in the library. And I was very happy about that because the campus fall wintry descriptions that were in the first two, I absolutely loved. So I was going to be a little bit sad if those weren't in here, but they definitely were. Let me find some for you because I love the writing. Absolutely adore it. Like she just knows, Heather Fawcett knows how to set a vibe, I must say. It says, a light rain mixed with sleet is falling beyond the window, but I have not drawn the curtains, for my view of the lantern-lit campus is charming in the winter night's gloom. Like, so simple, but it sets the vibe so well. I feel like that's a very small example of it, but just things like that I absolutely love, so I'm really happy that this book is giving me those as well. And beyond that, I'm trying to figure out what else to say about this book. The way the plot in this series has unfolded makes it incredibly hard to say anything that's not a spoiler for like the first book or the second book or like what's going on in this one. So I guess do with that what you will. I just don't want to say too much, so we're gonna leave it at that. And I'm going to spend the rest of my Sunday doing some sprints with my patrons. I do have those at like 1 o'clock. It's currently 11. I don't think I'm gonna finish this before then, but I'm going to read a lot of this before then. And then after that, I'm thinking, instead of reading some more of Sense and Sensibility, which I did not read any of yesterday, I ended up having a lot less time than I thought I was going to yesterday. So this did not happen, but I'm thinking I might wait to read a little bit more of this and this afternoon maybe get into Immortal a little bit. I could change my mind on that, but I would like to listen to the audiobook a little bit while I don't know, do something. I did start crocheting a hat the other day, which I could continue to work on. This is how it looks. It's gonna just be like a beanie. Although honestly, should I even work on this right now? Because I started crocheting this when it was like -5 degrees outside and I was like, oh, having a hat's gonna be so nice, but it's gonna be 60 degrees today. So I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should just read Sense and Sensibility. We're just gonna see, honestly, what I'm feeling after I finish Emily Wilde. We'll see what the vibe is at that point in time. So I think that's everything that I have for you right now, a short update for this Sunday morning, but let us get into whatever I'm planning to do today. I don't know, but I will see you sometime soon after I have finished Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. It is now Monday morning. I just got back from class and I'm here with a couple of reading updates for you because I finished a book, I continued a book, and we need to talk about it. So first of all, let's talk about the book that I finished because I did finish up Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. And I can say with 100% confidence now, this is my first 5-star of the year. And I'm so excited about it. I feel like for the first 250 or so pages of this book, I was liking it a lot. But I didn't really think it compared truly to the way I was feeling about the first two, you know? Like the first two, I'm like, oh my god, 5 stars. And this one's gonna be kind of like a, oh yeah, like 5 stars, you know? But the last chunk of this book that I read yesterday, I think it was like the last 100 or so pages, was so good. So many great things were happening. I was loving the turn that the plot was taking. I was just having a wonderful time. And it really just reminded me why I gave the first two books incredibly high star ratings. I feel like the first two are like 6-star reads. I think this one is still like a 5-star read, but the last 100 pages really brought it back for me and I was so happy about that. Because I've been anticipating this for so long, so if it was gonna let me down, I was gonna be really salty about it. But thankfully, I don't have to be because it was actually stunning overall. I think, you know, it still feels very different from the first two. And I think on a reread, I might even like the first part of this book a little bit more because I'm mentally prepared for that. I'm ready for it. But on the first read, it was a little bit jarring at first. I was kind of like, where's the meandering, studying vibes? They're not really like super present in this book. But what this book did give me, I did end up really, really loving. So this definitely ended up being a win, despite my, you know, somewhat hesitant thoughts about the first part of this book. I do think this is kind of the perfect conclusion to this series. Like, it just felt like it wrapped everything up so well. And I feel like the entire, like, 3 books, we were kind of leading to the things that go on in this book. And I just really, really enjoyed what actually came to fruition with all of that. So overall, I loved it. Specifically, let me talk a few specifics. I really enjoyed how some of the plot lines from the first 2 books were brought into this book and utilized in a really smart way. I just felt like it really kind of pulled the series together overall, because I feel like the first, you know, 2 books, they feel like they're part of a series, but I feel like they could almost maybe be read as standalones. Like, not actually, but like the things that are happening in them don't really seem too connected aside from like a very vague general overarching thing that's going on in the series. But I feel like this one kind of brought those first 2 books together and made it seem like a very cohesive kind of narrative throughout the 3 of them. I also really loved Emily's continued insistence that all folktales kind of follow the same patterns. And that general theme has been used in all 3 of the books so far, like all 3 of the situations that we kind of end up getting into in the books. Emily finds her way out of by using previous like folk tales to like guide the story that she's in at that present moment, basically. And that also happened in this one, and I love that as a concept. I'll leave it there, but just know that I absolutely loved it. I had such a fun time reading it. Definitely a really strong conclusion to the series. And I'm so sad that it's over. Like, literally, I closed the book yesterday and I was like, where do I go from here? I need more series like this. I desperately, desperately do. I know so many of my favorite series generally have this like similar vibe, but I need more. So if any of you have any suggestions for series that you think are similar to the Emily Wilde series, please let me know. But if you want my suggestions for series that I think you might like, if you like Emily Wilde, you should try the Lady Trent series. It's about a dragon naturalist, which is fun. You could try the Veronica Speedwell series, not exactly fantasy, but similar historical romance, bickering, bantering between the 2 main characters kind of thing. You could also try out the Love's Academic series by India Holton. I think that one's like a little bit more on the rom-com, ridiculous kind of side of things, but still really fun. Still deals with naturalists, and it is still fantasy. So those are my 3 suggestions for you. I mean, I've talked about them a lot, so they're probably not like new suggestions. But just to reiterate, you should try those. But I feel like this one is my favorite out of all of those. And the fact that it's over, I'm unwell. I just really, really loved it. So there we go, it's done. I'm sad, but let's move on to talking about something else. Because after I finished Emily Wilde, I ended up using this as a prompt for my readathon that I'm currently doing on my Patreon. So I had to roll again to like get another prompt. And I ended up rolling a prompt to read a book with a map in it. And I realized that Immortal by Sue Lynn Tan does indeed have a map in it. So I decided to prioritize this one over Sense and Sensibility. I have not read any more of Sense and Sensibility. I'm still about halfway through it, but I'll just like read more of it some other time, I suppose. But I have read a lot more of this book. I'm currently at like the halfway point, maybe. I'm on page 244. And honestly, you know, in the first part of this book, I was feeling a little bit skeptical. I was liking it, but things with the like romance that were going on, I was like, we're 75 pages into this book. Like, what are we doing? I was like, oh my god, am I falling into an insta-love trap again? But no, Sue Lynn Tan really had me thinking she was gonna disappoint me, but alas, she did not, because there's like, I'm not gonna say too much, because I don't think what happened is on the flap of this book, so I'm not gonna say anything. But like, the way that things have developed have renewed my faith in this book being good, and I'm really enjoying it so far. The betrayal, the treachery, the absolute brutality of the Immortals I'm really enjoying in this book. There's obviously a lot of focus put upon the fact that they're immortals and they live forever, and there are a lot of kind of conversations about that in this book, which I'm liking. I also just do enjoy the romance. Like, it's been very fun, and I think it's only gonna get more fun from here on out, so I'm definitely excited to read some more. I'd like to finish it up today. I feel like that's doable, honestly. I'm just gonna continue to kind of listen to the audiobook while I do some random stuff, honestly, but I'm just enjoying listening to the audiobook, so that's kind of what I'm gonna focus on for the rest of today, and then I'll wrap up the vlog tonight. There we go. That is my other book that I'm planning on finishing in this video. So I will see you guys probably tonight when I have finished up Immortal. All right, so it is a lot later, but I'm back with a final reading update, and I also got some mail, which I thought would be fun to show you guys because I have this package, which is not book related in the slightest. But it's a Halloween decoration, actually, that I bought that I'm just excited about and I want to show you. Yes, I'm buying Halloween decorations in February. I don't want to talk about it. But actually first, I have a letter from Cass, and I thought I would open it with you guys because I do believe some of her new bookmarks from her recent collection are in here. And obviously I need to show you because I love her sword bookmarks so dearly. They are so cute. Tell me why the first thing I see when I open this letter is my eyeball. Whatever it is, I don't like it. She said there was a treat in here for me. What that entails, I have no idea. I'm just really badly opening this. I'm trying not to cut this. Oh, card! It's so cute! Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so cute. Oh my god. We recently had our 3-year friendship anniversary. So she made a little collage of just the most god-awful photos I have ever seen. That's all you get to see of that. That's atrocious. But thank you, Cassandra. I think. But anyway, let me show you. Oh my god, this is look how, oh, a bookmark. Oh my god, this is so cute. This is the little treat she was talking about. This is so freaking cute. I wonder if she got this. She has to have gotten this when she went to Japan, right? I would assume so. It looks like the other bookmark that she got me from the other time she went to Japan. So, oh my god, it's got little cats. This is so cute. Hang on. Man, I wish I could have like used this in one of my books I was reading in this video. But look how cute. I guess I could have just left it on the card and that would have been a better idea. Look how cute the little cat metal bookmark is. I love metal bookmarks. I always think they're so cool. And this one's gorgeous. So thank you, Cass. Oh my god. So we have the metal bookmark, and then I also have a plethora of sword bookmarks here. I think all of these are from her recent collection. There are also some little stickers in here that I get because I'm special, so. I think she also did, I think she had a Valentine's Day collection, which those I'm quite excited about, even though it's not Valentine's Day anymore. But oh my god, she has so many. I have so many sword bookmarks from her. It's insane, but I love it. That is not a complaint. I absolutely love it, but I have, you know, tiny sword stickers, as one would need. And then we have the stunning bookmarks. Oh, they're so cute. Okay. Let me show you. Are these broken into collections? I don't know. I know these go together. They're like D&D dragon kind of themed ones because they have like the dice. There's a word for them. I don't remember what they're called, but like the multi-sided dice. Can you tell I've never played D&D? I would, but the opportunity has never presented itself, but that's the vibe of this collection. Then there's also a little St. Patrick's Day one. Because if you know, you know. This one is so cute though. I really do like this one a lot. Then I believe these were from her Valentine's Day collection. We have like a little chocolate covered strawberry and conversation hearts with little envelopes, which is so cute. I love the colors on this one. And then we have some pink ones. I don't know if that's a collection, but that's the vibe. So we have like little bows and sakura flowers. So thank you so much, Cass, for providing me with even more swords. Like, even these alone look like a lot, and I probably have like triple the amount that I'm holding here. So I always have a sword to match whatever book I happen to be reading at the present moment. So thank you, Cass, for that. But I wanted to show you guys those because they are on sale right now. I will link her shop down below, Oakleaf Arrow Studios. You should check it out. You really should. So thank you, Cass, for the lovely things. I feel like this is now gonna pale in comparison, but we're gonna open it anyway because I'm still very excited about it. I've been eyeing one of these for a while. I just haven't found a price that I was content with. But I saw one on eBay last week for like a pretty decent price, so I decided to go ahead and buy one, and I'm gonna use it to store some journaling supplies in. Oh, it's so cute. Okay, here we go. I believe this is like a little candy dish maybe, but I'm planning to use it. Look how freaking cute it is, all the little pumpkins on it. It's got like the little lid. I'm planning to put this on my shelf over there. This is gonna be a year-round decoration because It's just so cute. And I want to put like my most used washi tape in here. I feel like that'd be really cute. And then in like actual October, I could put candy in it because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a candy dish thing. But it's so cute. I love it. I don't know if you guys cared about my unseasonally appropriate purchase. I don't think that phrase made sense, but you know what I mean. But I was excited about it and it came like 10 minutes ago, so I figured I would show you. That's enough of unboxing random things. Should we talk about my final reading update for the vlog? I think so. So I did finish up Immortal again like 10 minutes ago. And for the most part, okay, for the most part, I really liked this book, but I run into this issue so many times with the books that I read. I'm not gonna tell you what it is because it's a major spoiler for the book, but there's like this trope that gets used specifically in fantasy romance that drives me up a wall. And like, I feel like I encounter it so frequently, and sometimes it's used effectively. I feel like maybe in this book it was done decently well. Sometimes it's just like, what are we even doing? Like, it was fine in this book, but I just don't like how it changes the story, and I don't like how it changes the dynamic of any romance that is present, because I just don't know. I really hate it, honestly. Like, I can think of so many books that use this trope, and every time I'm just like, why don't we do something different? It just feels lazy to me. And this book, unfortunately, did end up doing that. So when, you know, everything was kind of being revealed, I was like, all right. I must say it did, you know, jazz up the story a little bit, because I feel like I was getting a little bit bored towards the like 3/4 mark in this book. So with the introduction of this, I was at least like a little bit more intrigued in the plot, but the way that this affects a lot of relationships, not even romantic, but just like all relationships in this book, it's interesting, but I don't know, just something about it I do not jive with for the most part. I don't even think it's inherently a negative thing to do this in a book, but I just personally don't like it. However, I still did really like the romance throughout the entirety of this book. I don't think it like ruined the book for me or anything even close to that, but it's just it just like grates on my nerves. Anyway, we're moving on. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. Honestly, I'm kind of feeling about it how I was thinking I was feeling about it. I'm glad that I read it, but I'm glad that I didn't buy a physical copy of this, because even though it's beautiful, like the cover is just so stunning, I don't need to own a physical copy of this, so I'm glad that I ended up picking this up from the library. And it was just fine. You know, I still feel like out of the 3 Sue Lynn Tan books that I've read, I greatly prefer Daughter of the Moon Goddess, but this one is still pretty good. I absolutely love Sue Lynn Tan's writing style though. It's very beautiful and lyrical without going over the top with things. It's just a really nice writing style to read, I guess. So I enjoyed that a lot. I also just enjoyed the expansion of this world, because this does, I think I mentioned that in the beginning of this video, but it does take place in the same world as the Celestial Kingdom duology, but it like focuses on immortals as opposed to those who are a part of the Celestial Kingdom, if that makes sense. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and honestly, if Sue Lynn Tan writes another book kind of in this vein, I would probably consider picking it up, because I enjoyed my time. And I feel like that's probably all I have to say about it. So yeah, there you go. But I did finish up Immortal today, which means I did finish 2 books in this vlog, which I am very happy about. Obviously, this one was my favorite out of the 2 by a landslide. It was... I'm so happy that I was finally able to read it, but I'm so sad that the series is now over. I'm gonna go cry about it in a corner later, and I'm still, I can't start thinking about it again. I'm gonna get sad again. But yes, these are the 2 books that I finished in this video, both of which I just had a fun time with. So yes, first 5-star of the year as well, which is very exciting. And then I also have not read any more of Sense and Sensibility. I'm just going to continue to kind of read this over the week and hopefully finish it. Probably not. Will I finish it in February? Maybe. What's the date right now? It's the 24th. I don't know if that's happening. I might have too much stuff to do over the next few days. But I will be finishing this at least early in March at the latest. So very happy that I also decided to pick this one up. I'm still really enjoying it, and I will be buying a copy of Mansfield Park soon. Even though I'm not like that jazzed about Mansfield Park, I still want to have read all of Jane Austen's, like, you know, main 6 novels. There we go. With that, we have arrived at the end of the video, I really hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. I've had such a lovely time filming it. I've been waiting and anticipating being able to film the vlog that I read Emily Wilde's what is this called? Compendium of Lost Tales in. So the fact that I've now done it, the fact that I love this book, I'm just so happy. So obviously, I need to know, have you guys read the third Emily Wilde book? If you have, what did you think about it? But if you have not read it, have you read any of the other books that I read in this vlog? In full or partially with Sense and Sensibility? I would love to chat about them. If not, obviously just tell me what you're reading right now, what you're getting up to, how are you doing? I would love to know. Also, before we go, I would like to thank everybody over on my Patreon. If you're ever looking for more content from me, that is always linked down below. But with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you're all having an amazing Tuesday or whatever day it is that you are watching this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!